How's it going, everybody? Crazy, crazy news for LSU the last few weeks as we went into this Citrus Bowl game thinking, well, Purdue are the depleted team. They are the team. They are losing their head coach, Jeff Brom, losing Aiden O'Connell, their starting quarterback, losing even one of their backup quarterbacks, losing dynamic receiver, best edge rusher, losing so many people. I think 12, 13 different transfers alone, a few extra going into the draft. A lot of different players they lost. Had to even get Drew Brees to come in to, back to his alma mater to be some type of assistant coach in some form or fashion to kind of help his alma mater some way. Um, and which is cool. So then he can coach against LSU. But then you didn't think that LSU would really be getting picked off one by one, either via the portal or the NFL draft. You knew once again LSU were going to lose some guys through the portal, of course, like what happens with every team. And then you knew LSU were going to lose this dude, this dude, this dude through the draft. You knew it was going to happen. You knew LSU were going to lose some of these guys. You knew Ojolari, Booty, Jaquelin Roy likely, Jay Ward was likely out the door. You knew some of these guys were out the door. And with eligibility, being a senior, even with like Dre Jenkins, Micah Baskerville, you knew some guys like that were going to leave as well. But what you don't expect is when you have Kayshon Boutte declare that, surprise everyone when he declares that he's going to return to LSU just 20 days ago. Um, right after then, receiver Jack Besh enters into the transfer portal. Everyone feels like, the Besh move was in reaction to Boutte. Not sure it had so much to do with it, but there's definitely some type of tension there because now 20 days after when Boutte made that announcement, very, very deeply worded, heartfelt announcement from Kayshon where he's basically saying, I'm going to give everything. I'm going to come back to LSU, win a national championship. I'm going to come back and give everything, and we're going to do this. And, basically stuns the entire fan base, stuns college football to its core. Like, Kayshon Boutte's coming back? Wow. Okay, wow. What Brian Kelly's doing there is really paying dividends because you got a guy like Kayshon who for sure should have been out the door, right? But here he is coming back for one more season. That's just showing the Kelly effect, And that was kind of the story, and as well as just what LSU could do with guys like Jaden Daniels and now Kayshon Boutte coming back. Instead, what you have just 20 days after is Kayshon first being announced by LSU that he is unavailable for the bowl game. Now, we had been told before this that Kayshon hadn't made a single bowl game practice, and that he wasn't hurt. And so I'm thinking, well, suspension, or maybe he's going to the draft. Like changed his mind. And then I asked some people close to Kayshon, and then that kind of seemed to be like, huh, interesting. And then I asked certain person whose name ends with a B, straight up, um, and got sometimes, let's put it this way, sometimes you take bullets for sources, and you look sometimes you just take bullets for sources, and you have to suffer the consequences. And That's just sometimes what happens when you roll the dice and play in this kind of high stakes breaking news game that I'm playing in, where sometimes the sources who are the closest um, can be the most. I wouldn't use the word manipulative, but sometimes it's just an agenda that wants to be pushed, or it's. Well, we won't get into that, but as for Kayshawn um, going to the NFL, when that news dropped, it wasn't from this heavily worded, lengthy you know piece with a long intro and sign Kayshawn Booty and all these photos and all this stuff. It was it was just a small, very quick, all caps laden tweet from Kayshawn saying that he was going to the NFL draft. Um, that's Sage. That's Sage. What's up, buddy? Drinking? Hey, buddy. It's kind of spilling on me. Kind of running down your mouth right there, buddy. Making him smile. He's spilling while he's drinking. But yeah, the Kayshawn Booty news, it's strange because the timing of it. LSU, why would they announce that day that Kayshawn's unavailable, and then that drops? It's very strange. And it's quite obvious that a team rule was broken. Suspension was coming ahead, whether that was academics, as some have said, whether that was this, that, all these rumors. Kayshawn Booty is now, someone who's going to, a Tiger who's going to be suspended for the bowl game, for the Citrus Bowl. And I think in that moment, he was just emotionally impulsive and said, "I'm done. I'm out of here. See ya, LSU. I'm done towing the line and all this stuff. All this type of this new philosophy under Brian Kelly. I'm done living it. Let's go to the NFL." And I think it was a very quick, split-second decision. Um, the quotes we put out were not lies. I think that this player just didn't understand how to handle the situation when they're wanting to do two things at once, wanting to tell people what they want to hear, wanting to make people, okay, still on their good side, while also fulfilling that ambition, um, those career pathways, those career goals, I should say. And I get the whole thing, but taking bullets for sources, it's not a fun game. I'll tell you that much. Hasn't happened quite some time, but when it does, it doesn't feel good. But Kayshawn Booty declares for the NFL draft, and it's right ahead of LSU's Citrus Bowl game here against Purdue. And this is a Purdue team that we thought was so depleted. You know, there's no chance. 14.5 favorite LSU over Purdue. But now you look at things and it's like LSU are without their two starting defensive ends, Ojolari and Gay, both gone. Jay Ward is going to play in this game. We'll start at corner. If the depth chart is to be believed, and of course if someone at nickel or safety is out, he can of course move around. But there's so many interesting pieces to this game because LSU are without some guys. Now it's not just Jeray Jenkins who's gone preparing for the draft; it's also Kayshawn Booty, and then you got Jack Besh. So you got your receiving core down 3 top guys. It's basically Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr. show, and Mason Taylor. And this is it would have been a great opportunity for Jack Besh had he stayed. This would have been possibly an 8 or 9 target game for him here in this game. You'd expect, but we won't get into that because really it's Kayshawn going to the NFL draft. I don't know if it leaves the team in a huge pickle, considering what we have coming into this team next year. The type of firepower who we have coming in next year, but the fact that Kayshon Boutte had the type of unfulfilled potential as an LSU Tiger, for me, he's one of the biggest what ifs in LSU history. Because I mean, the dude had the SEC all-time single game record-breaking receiving yardage against Ole Miss, absolutely roasting those guys as a true freshman. 9 touchdowns in 6 games the next year after that. Like, if it weren't for injury, 2 off-season surgeries, and then the saga of what we've seen over the last year, basically, will he go to Alabama? Will he not? And will he transfer? Will he not? Will he go to the NFL after this season? We all thought he was just going to go to the NFL. There was no real debate there. And then now he ended that debate by saying, "I want to come back to LSU. We're going to win a national championship, graduate champions. I'm all in." 180 after just being suspended 1 game. It handled poorly, I believe. I believe, you know, I really do feel that both sides owed each other more, but I feel like in this situation, Kayshawn owed LSU to honor what he said he was going to do. Come back. No one thought he was going to come back or asked him to or believed he was going to come back for his senior year. He said he was going to. And I understand everyone can make their own decisions and flip on their decisions, and that's fine. Change their minds, but if it was a case of changing your mind because you didn't want to accept a 1-game punishment, that is hard to take. Hard to take. But for here's the thing. At the end of the day, no one player is bigger than LSU as a program, as a university, as a football team. Standard of LSU is not just beholden to one player. All for one for all, one team, one heartbeat, whatever the hell you want to say as your catchphrase. The team is bigger than one player. It's the same, as heartbroken as you may feel when some of these guys leave. And believe me, we're talking about some of my favorite Tigers leaving one after another here. It's guys that I've gotten to know, and it's very sad to see them leave with time, yards, touchdowns, big plays in LSU colors, big moments, big memories, all on the table. It's a major case of what if when it comes to a guy like Kayshon Boutte. Just 1 second. Let me post this real quick. Up, buddy. Getting fussy, Sage? Huh? It's sad because when you look at Kayshon's career, you've got 2 electric seasons. I mean, and in both of those seasons, he's not even used in the way he should have been. Not even deployed to his full capacity. He's not playing with a top tier quarterback usually. Um, it's like we never even saw Kayshon Boutte at his optimum at LSU. We never saw him like fully go out and dominate outside of maybe 5 or 6 games. And in those games, he was not just a first round draft pick. He was a top 10, top 5 pick. First overall pick easily in a non top quarterback draft. Such an unbelievable offensive weapon in the era of the receiver. And you're going to try and tell me that he wouldn't be a top 5, potentially first overall pick had he continued at that trajectory? Get out of here. Boutte would have put up 20 plus touchdowns had LSU been able to have just an average passing game and just feed him the ball with any regularity. This last season was a great disservice to Keisha. I mean, he basically was just running routes breathlessly for no reason. Hungry for the ball. Well, the ball's never coming to you, Keishawn. Like, it was stunning how little the ball went your number one playmaker's way. But I don't think that's the reason he's going to the NFL draft. I feel like it's more. I'm sick of following these rules. I don't agree with why I'm being taken out of here. Suspended for this game, whether it's not traveling with the team, whether it's academics, whatever it is. It's something that sent him over the edge, and just to throw it all away over a 1-game suspension. I don't get it. I don't understand it. That may ring that maybe it's truer that there's something deeper going on here. But what could it possibly be? That we haven't seen in this saga so far. I mean, this saga has been never ending. This saga has gone on and on and on. Is Kayshawn going to Alabama? Is Kayshawn going to Alabama? That happened twice in the same offseason. While we were all wondering if he was even healthy to play. And he's a player that I knew that it was worth it. Was worth, taking all of these risks, all of this kind of disrespect for. I understood that. But when you go so far to say, hey, we're going to put you above the team, you're doing such a disservice to LSU and to the team. It had to be figured out. It was figured out, but the way it was figured out ended with Boutte hardly getting the football. So now I'm actually kind of worried about LSU's receiving core going into 2023, because it's like we don't have Kayshon Boutte, we don't have Jack Besh, we don't have DeRay Jenkins. We just lost 3 of our most explosive potential guys right out immediately. Kayshon Boutte, top 5 potential pick talent right there, gone. Jack Besh, an untapped potential that a stellar freshman year, even while not really being used correctly or to his fullest potential either. And still led LSU in receptions, still had some magnificent moments, some touchdowns that were just breathtaking, some plays after the catch that were fantastic. And now everyone's, of course, saying he's not as good as he was, and we don't need him. And Kayshawn, oh, we don't need him. We're better. Like, guys, we were a hell of a better team with Kayshawn and with Jack Besh going into 2023. Duh. But something happened this season that said we can't coexist, you and I, and then maybe this quarterback. Maybe that's another thing that's been thrown around. Is it because Jaden Daniels is coming back that they, these guys are saying, "Hey, I'm out of here"? Is that the reason? I think that's kind of an absolute farce. I think that's an absolute farce because they would just say it. They'd just come right out and say it. Shout out to my guy Stephen Miller. Just sent me a funny DM there. Oh God. Sorry, we're posting this real quick. Hey, buddy. I know. Hey, buddy. It's like I want the milk, so I'm gonna tip it over. Hey, buddy. Trying to figure out how to use your hands. It's okay, buddy. Here, you want to be held? Sorry, guys, on baby duty. Come here, buddy. Come here. Here, do you want to sit with me like this, where you're facing me? God, this blanket not letting me get a handle of you. There we go, buddy. Anybody? This is Sage. Going into this game, LSU versus Purdue, I don't know how much of a distraction this will be, considering maybe a lot of these players saw this coming. Maybe a lot of players knew about the drama that was ahead, that was going on behind the scenes. What I can tell you right now is it is increasingly tougher to get any information as someone from the media, from the players or team. It is, Brian Kelly is telling them, lock it down. Right now, we want no distractions. We're closing the bunker down, lock it down. You even had some powers that be who were pissed off at me for putting out those quotes as well. They knew damn right that those quotes were authentic, but they knew what was about to happen. The lie that I was kind of blindsided by. And so it can be a sticky game when you're actually in it here. Sometimes these things don't go your way. And that's fine. That's fine. But, some things to be learned for sure from this. But, when you look at this LSU Purdue game, I feel like, the Tigers, you have a big chance for Savion Jones, a big chance for Quincy Wiggins right out of the gate. Big chance for Jacoby and Guillory on the defensive line. You got three guys right there. Savion Jones has had one hell of a season. Whenever he's played, he's been extremely effective. 3.5 sacks, I believe it's been. So you got him out there on the edge for Ali Gaye. And then you're probably going to have either Quincy Wiggins or maybe Harold Perkins. More likely, like Harold Perkins, most of the reps, and then sprinkle in Quincy Wiggins, Mike Jones Jr. But you're going to see Quincy Wiggins as well out there to try and give it a chance. It's going to be interesting to see whether these guys have what it takes to fill those roles, to fill those shoes. Ali Gay, I don't think he ever fulfilled his potential at LSU. You look at it, and I think it's like 2.5 sacks or something the last year, 2 sacks this year, something like that. And then that first season, he had like 5 batted passes, and then the last 2 years, just 1. I understand he was hurt for more or less 75% of last season, but he was extremely effective in closing down passing lanes with his length, and you saw that just completely disappear. And then he really struggled against the running game. He was really exploited against the running game. But what was really cool was you saw in his last few games, Ali Gay completely work on that and fix that. And he actually stood out as one of the best players against the run. Against A&M, when we were getting burnt. I know he got burnt as well, but he did not get burnt, not even close as much as other guys. Ole Miss, he was stuffing people. Against Alabama, he was stuffing people at times. He improved in that. It's just very interesting to see some of these guys having, it's the end of an era. It's the end of an era. Kind of that Orgeron to Kelly Bridge there. Those guys who played for both. Those guys who played, right after the 2019 team or were part of it, like Jere Jenkins, like Jay Ward. Jay Ward, no one's had more interceptions or created more turnovers or had more pass breakups or scored more defensive touchdowns since the 2019 season than Jay Ward. Very impressive numbers, very impressive impacts in these games. You've seen Jay Ward be able to start and be fantastic at 3 different defensive back positions: safety, nickelback, and corner. Really, what else? What can you say? I think some of the problems with LSU's defense actually later in the season, as they got tired, as they got worn down, was also the fact that they moved Jay Ward to nickel, and we lost our aggression through the middle, right behind Mekhi Wingo, right behind Jaquelin Roy. If they got to that next level, and Harold Perkins wasn't flying over there, and usually he was off on the edge. If Micah Baskerville wasn't there to make the play, there was usually some yards to be had because Jay Ward was off covering somebody. But if he was there at safety, we're good. That's another big time player we're going to be missing. That's the thing, though. You see someone like Major Burns. He's going to be someone who's going to be fantastic at that safety role. But interestingly enough, he is also labeled as a nickel for this game, the starting nickel, in fact, over Sage Ryan. So very, very interesting. Major Burns, normally a safety, you got him at nickelback. That's not the band. It's the position. Very, very interesting. But no, you got LSU who are a little bit depleted here. But here's what we have that Purdue don't. We have a coaching staff. We have continuity there. We have some type of recognition of okay, we've been preparing for this moment all season. If this guy got injured or if that person needed to come in, we're going to have LaTerrence Welch out there at corner now because Jarek Bernard-Converse just got injured. Whatever it is, LSU perhaps in the Citrus Bowl or maybe just next season are going to have to find out really how deep this program is. And I think we'll find out how deep this program really is right here, right now in this Citrus Bowl. How well is Brian Kelly stacked this roster with talent already after just a year and a half. Well, no, I shouldn't even say a year and a half. More like a year and a month or two that he's been, you know, the coach, and just one season. Has he been able to adequately, you know, do that? But has he had the time to do that? No. So you're going to see LSU also have some holes on their roster as well in this game. You're going to see perhaps Purdue make some big plays on this defense. Some big gashing plays. Maybe LSU's defense stiffens up in the red zone, but you could literally see Purdue also kind of burn LSU at times. Say hi, Sage. Say what's up. Say what's up, buddy. You floating? You floating around? But yeah, it's just very interesting to see this kind of one era of LSU football change into the next. And we thought Kayshon Boutte might be a player that, with some of these championship teams, you usually see these veterans who it's like their last run, their last ride, their last dance, leading a group of core young guys or whatever. But you got these veterans. Boutte could have been one of those veterans who could have put up 10 plus touchdowns next season if he really found that desire within him. But I got to be real here. I don't feel like that desire has been there. I don't feel like the intensity has been there. I don't understand why you would announce that you're coming back and then just randomly go to the draft, the drop of a hat, and not feel like you're going to have questions about it, not feel like there could be any negative feelings about it, and that it's wrong to feel negative about it, or to feel like that's kind of messed up, or that's kind of dishonest in some form or fashion. It's I don't know how to explain it. It's just a very weird feeling to see it come to this. Where first it's been such a long saga with Kayshon Boutte that sadly didn't involve enough playing on the actual field of actual gridiron. That's the sad thing here. Kayshon, we didn't see him on the field enough. After that first year, his numbers fell off. And that was obviously due to injuries and then a whole lot of different issues from this season, all mixed into a bag, including having a quarterback who was more or less unwilling to throw him the damn ball when he was wide open. Footage can prove that. But we got a comment here from Jamer saying, "Hey Lon, we are on our way to a family dinner with a carload of people, so I will have to watch later. I am so sorry." Oh, come on, Jamer. You can't just put me on speakerphone and just blast me into the everybody's consciousness, like just force me down everyone's throat. Come on, Jamer. Good God. And here I am thinking you're a friend. Sage thought you were a friend, and you let Sage and me down. Jamer, it's all good. Hope you get there safe. Have a hell of a time. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. It's a weird time because it's supposed to be a time where the breaking news kind of calms down. But then you have these random stories that always come out every single year and they're always very, very bizarre stories. They're always very unexpected. They're always very last second. Whoa, that just happened. That guy's coming back. That guy's going. That guy is getting fired. It's always there's always at least one or two of these. And here's LSU's. Hey, buddy. So I felt like we had to do due diligence, do due diligence by covering it. I it just feels like what type of player LSU had with Kayshon Boutte, and we could never surround him with the right quarterback or situation to get the most out of him. I really do believe, even having dropping touchdowns, not running routes with full effort, even playing at like 50, 60% capacity this season with Jaden Daniels at quarterback, he still could have caught at least 9 or 10 touchdowns if you go back and watch the tape. But for some reason, only ends up with 2 in his final season as a Tiger, and it's a damn shame because one of the most talented players to ever play receiver at LSU. I'm just gonna say it right now. Kayshon Boutte, and you know it damn well too. One of the most talented, or in my opinion, the most talented receiver to ever play at LSU. Didn't completely cash in on that talent, much like Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase did. Even Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase had that 1 or 2 year window, year and a half window, where things went like, and then they were gone. And so even then, we're not seeing the full scope potential of these players, and that's why I think it's such an endearing part of what Brian Kelly's starting at LSU with the freshmen and wanting to play the freshmen and ride with these freshmen, because it's like this kid's gonna be here for me for 3 or 4 years, and I know that. Like we're gonna put our faith and our trust in guys like Will Campbell, Emory Jones, Mason Taylor. you know that to me makes sense. That to me makes sense. Um, Malik Neighbors, he's now your number one receiver. We just put out an awesome feature on Malik Neighbors talking about how him and Boutte can be that epic tandem, just like we saw against Georgia, where both went off for over 100 yards. We expected this season to be a season where we could see Boutte and Neighbors maybe be that second coming of Jefferson Chase. But instead, you got Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., Chris Hilton Jr., Shelton Sampson Jr., Aaron Anderson, of course, coming in the transfer portal. Good boy, Sage. Good. Did you hear that, everybody? That was kind of funny that he just did that live on this thing. But yeah, I think LSU still have a very promising receiving core for next year. But whenever in one fell swoop you take out guys like Drake Jenkins, who's had 11 touchdowns over the last 2 years, you take out Kayshon Boutte. We all know what he represents, what he can do, what he's accomplished, what he's probably going to be in the first round of this next draft. And then you take out Jack Besh, who had such high promise as well, such versatility, such strength and maneuverability after the catch. You're losing a lot of talent, a lot of depth at receiver. And sure, we're adding pieces and making up for the Jaylen Brown, Sheldon Sampson Jr., Landon Ibieta is already on campus, just hasn't been given a shot yet. Chris Hilton Jr. already on campus, hasn't really been given a shot yet. Kyron Lacey, he's there, dropped some passes, has kind of been so-so. But really, it's really from now on, it's got to be about kind of elevating Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr. into those roles as the number one and number two guys at LSU. But at the same time, we also knew that they were going after a Missouri guy, Dominic Lovett. But with Kayshon Boutte coming back, with all this, non-movement in the receiving room, you felt like, oh, well, LSU probably won't need Dominic Lovett because they've got all these, young guys coming in taking those receiving spots. Instead, you've basically got LSU just lacking depth at receiver. All right, everybody, take it easy. Have a good one.